Hello, beautiful beings. I'm not long up, but there's a message. There's a couple of things coming through. And one is in relation to the morning. When we come out of the dream time, if we don't think about what we're thinking, then we're going to think yesterday's thoughts. So if we just wake up and go straight into life, 99% likely whatever we were thinking about last night, things that are hanging over, things that we've been worrying about, things that are unresolved, will immediately fill the space of the mind. And the mind is a space that it's air energy, so it's in motion anyway, but it's a space that is fluid, essentially. In other words, it's always thinking something, it's always moving something through. It's always trying to analyze something. And if we don't consciously fill the space, it's like after we've had a healing. If you have a healing and clear a lot of energy out of your being, you've cleared a lot of space. If you don't consciously fill the space with what you're creating, the mind will fill it with the past again, because it's all it knows. So becoming conscious, what are we thinking in the morning? I observe in myself that tendency to immediately start to fixate on something that I may have been thinking about yesterday, which is why I like my mornings pretty quiet. I like my mornings to myself. If I have to go out in the morning, I will get up earlier so I have time to myself. I like to feel into, process what I've been dreaming. I like to call my energy back from the dream time. I like to have a bit of stillness, space, a bit of peace and quiet as much as possible, and come to. And in that time, I'm consciously centering myself, calling my energy back, being present in that moment with what the day is bringing, what the energy is, how it's feeling, how I'm feeling, what I feel like doing. Bringing awareness to the mind in the morning can set ourselves up for the day in a totally different way, in a much more present and intentional way. So be mindful of what your mind is doing in the morning, and it can change the trajectory. And also, this is how we start to break into patterns. Patterns are habitual things that are running in the background. So the more awareness and consciousness we bring to what our patterns are in terms of how we think and what the associations and trigger points there are, then we can start to chink. We get into them. We start to dismantle them through the very awareness itself. There's also a message coming through this morning for somebody that everything is coming full circle. Everything's coming home. You may have been shown different memories over your life. Your higher self may be showing different times in your life, different memories in your life, different things that are essentially a thread, energetic thread that's weaving or coming to resolution. It's coming full circle. And I think a lot of the time we get shown things as an opportunity for us to honour what is completing, what cycles are closing out, and energetically how that expressed itself through our personality, which was mostly survival in the past. So everything is coming full circle. There are things that are beyond the conscious mind that are closing out, integrating. And essentially that is a lot of the old reactions and responses and survival techniques that were coded within us as a way to be, that we had to be. So all the disappointment, all the feelings of hopelessness, failure, and mostly like a real sense of frustration is what I'm getting. A very deep sense of frustration with life. Life never turning out exactly how we want it. Feeling left out, feeling like we've missed the boat, feeling like we've failed, feeling like there's something wrong with us. That low level feeling as if something is wrong all the time, right? And if we really dig into that and really sit with it, there it is the all the despair feelings, the hopelessness, the frustration, dissatisfaction, disappointment, being let down, resentment, fear. So all these like tendrils of the old ways of being that we've had to function within and mold ourselves around because it hasn't been safe for us to be fully seen. So we've all been in this game of survival in a control matrix. And I'm just so observing all the ways in which when we extract ourselves from those systems, it has to be through our full consciousness of them. We can't get out of something until we're aware how we're hooked in. And if there are feelings, deep feelings, again, resurfacing of any of these vibrations, this frustration, it's coming at that final resolution point where there's enough of the new sense of self now, there's enough of a foundation somewhere within of faith and trust and visioning and what feels good, that it's somehow looking at the old feelings now within, which are kind of unbearable and make you feel like you're going to explode. If you get this very intense wave of frustration or sadness or anger or whatever, it's so intense right now, very acute and fast moving through, that it can also, you know, be a bit overwhelming in the body, right? But it's present in this way as for us to really realize, resolve within that feeling, within our own personal story and individual life of whatever traumas we've experienced. Where is the point at which we developed or took in, internalized that feeling because we couldn't cope with what was happening? And when we can, you know, this is while the memories are coming up, we're being shown all these points in our life where things were embedded in, where we originally internalized something that probably had nothing to do with us. It's probably something to do with our parents or the way someone treated us, which actually in reality was nothing to do with us. And as sensitive children, we were also necessarily, understandably, by default, naive to that, and we internalize other people's trauma in this world. So as empathic, sensitive souls, this time is the time of resolution. But there's something in it that we need to see for ourselves, about ourselves. And what's coming through now is the ability, simply the ability to have a different perspective about what happened, to have a different perspective, hold a different witness towards ourselves in that. In other words, where is their blame? Where is their shame? Where is their guilt? Because they're all attachments. We're essentially, as long as we still hold any attachment or opinion or thoughts about it or something that's unresolved, it is still going to surface in the body, through those feelings, those very deep core feelings. And yes, they will be attaching to circumstances in life right now, you know, where we're not getting what we want, where we haven't got what we want, where our life isn't exactly how would be most nourishing and fulfilling to us. Those feelings will be attaching to those circumstances. And then the temptation is to give our attention to that, right? But it really isn't the answer. The answer is to sit very deeply with the feeling that we've really, if we're honest with, we've always run away from. Personally, that feeling in my body, which I couldn't even name when I was younger, it was like a desperate wave of, I can't cope. I couldn't even hold it in my body. I couldn't even feel it for a second. And it's beyond this lifetime. And I used to do anything to get away from that feeling, anything to avoid it, anything to avoid really sitting with myself and the overwhelming feelings, anything to avoid confrontation or feeling like somebody misunderstood me or disapproved of me or was rejecting me. I'd do anything to avoid the deepest feelings, numb out, get absolutely wasted for days. I'd do anything to avoid it. Now is the point where spirit knows that we are mature enough humans, even if we don't feel like it. We've developed our consciousness enough to be able to hold the space for ourselves, where we are the ones, we are the container through our witness and our heart awakened foundation that can just hold that feeling, just witness it without trying to fix it, force it, push it away or change it. In other words, you're signaling there's something wrong. If you're desperately trying to get away from something, if we can just be with it like a mother would be with the child, like a grandmother energy of pure acceptance and witness, that's all it needs to start to move through, to start to transmute, to start to discharge that energy that was stored into the nervous system and the body when we couldn't cope in the first place, but now we can. So calling all pieces and parts back from all dimensions, timelines, realities. It's very important that we have energetic hygiene right now and we're conscious and aware of the process that we're going through so we don't attach to those deep feelings when they move through. And if we don't, they can move through very fast like a wave, and we're just honouring the old parts that are leaving. So just knowing, if that resonates, that everything's happening for a reason, everything's serving you, and everything's coming home to you, through you. It's integrating through you, through your acceptance, through your surrender to love over fear. Everything's coming home. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for any comments, likes, shares, subscribed. It greatly helps me out. And I'm sending you from my heart a big hug, lots of love. You've got this. Mushka. Until next time.